Combat sports fans, you already know. Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. It's your host, Bando. What are we with today? We're going to talk a little bit about this Manal Kape versus Almabayev fight. It's interesting again for Manal Kape, his typical career to not be fighting a guy that he was originally supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Brandon Royval. Brandon Royval pulled out due to injury. So Almabayev stepped up. So let's get a slight breakdown of it. Let's go. All right, so this fight card isn't anything crazy, nothing extremely special, and in my opinion, kind of screws it up again for Manal Kape to get his opportunity to continue to move up. It's an awkward position for him to be in, but the fight itself is an interesting fight because stylistically, you would think it probably favors Almabayev, who is the stronger grappler. The only thing is, Almabayev has not fought anybody on a caliber of Manal Kape. He has not fought anybody who has fought the same level of competition that Manal has fought. So he's coming in slight underdog, which is crazy. Just a slight underdog on short notice. Not crazy short notice, but pretty short notice. But stepping in to take this fight, if he goes in there and he is able to get the fight to the ground, control the fight on the ground, then he has a huge chance to get this fight, get a W. But the way that Manal Kape does, like, to guys that he has to show that they're not on the same level as him, he really, really, like, shines. He shines. Like he did against, what was it? It's Bruno Silva. I think it was Bruno Silva was his name. I mean, he really shined in that fight. Obviously, another fight that wasn't originally the fight that was set to be. I'm pretty sure that night was the night he was supposed to fight Kai Kara France, and he ended up getting this fight. And, he fought a phenomenal performance. I feel like these types of moments from Manal Kape, he comes out and fights an insane fight. Now, I thought he fought well against Makayev, right? But the way that fight was built up for us to end up getting the type of fight that we got wasn't good enough for that, right? But Manal Kape, he just has to go in this fight, keep the fight standing, piece him up for, three rounds. Like, no argument, clearly pieced him up for at least 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? And then just secure that decision. Coast it. Unless he gets a finish, right? I don't see him getting a finish. I do see this Almabayev able to get the fight to the ground here and there. So I do see the fight having moments where it's up and down, up and down, up and down until Manal Kape starts to open up. And once he does, it's a wrap. I think once he gets his striking going, once he gets comfortable, once he gets in the zone, it's different. Now, I think the best bet for Almabayev is if he gets the fight to the ground, immediately look for the submission, right? Just go for it. This is a fight that you weren't even going to have. Probably we're going to have another fight before even getting close to getting this fight. So you might as well go for the finish. Go for broke in this fight, right? If you're on the feet and you keep this fight standing and you can't get the fight to the ground, Manal Kape is going to piece you up. He's going to make you look silly on the feet. He's got fantastic striking. I mean, he's got good takedown defense, but once the wrestling comes into play, once the wrestler gets comfortable with figuring you out, it's hard to avoid. So he's just got to be pretty smart in this fight. But I think if Manal Kape keeps this fight standing, he's going to get the win. And if Almabayev shoots and gets him down, waste no time, man. Look for the submission. Go straight for it. Fuck it. Go straight for it. What other fights are on that card? I think Cody Brunage versus Julian Marquez. Yep. Cody Brunage versus Julian Marquez is on the co-main event. And then right under that is Nasrat Hakparast against Esteban Robovic. I can never say Nasrat's name. That's why everybody just calls him Nasrat. It's like Ichiro. Even though people can say Ichiro Suzuki, everybody just says Ichiro. But nobody can actually say his last name. Nasrat Hak. I feel like it's more disrespectful for me to just continue to try to butcher it. But either way, Nasrat versus Esteban Robovic, that's actually a pretty interesting fight. We've seen Nasrat fight some tough competitors, man. We really have. He's been in there with some tough dudes. He's willing to go in there, put on a scrap. He's got a good chin. He takes him and gives it back. Is he, the most technically sound fighter in the division? No. He's in the toughest division in the world. So it's a battle every single time. No matter what, it's going to be a battle for him. And for this one, he's battling a guy on the come up, a guy who is looking real good. He is getting knockout wins, putting on fight of the night performances, and I've mentioned him multiple times in these past few podcasts. And Esteban Robovic is someone to look out for. If he can get in there and get past Nasrat, that's huge. That's huge. But I guarantee you that if you're willing to lock in on Saturday night to watch this card, another Apex card, if you're willing to sit through it, you want to watch it, this fight specifically will be fight of the night, in my opinion. It's going to be a banger. There's no way that it's not. You got two guys that are willing to meet right in the middle and get straight to throwing. I think if something gets to happening, you're going to see an early knockout or a 3-round slugfest. There is no in between. If this fight is boring, then I don't know. I don't know nothing about fights. I know nothing about fighting. Nasrat's got the longer reach in this fight, but everything else is pretty much virtually identical, But to think, Nasrat's been in the UFC since 2017, has fought Mark Diakisi, I don't know, I never knew how to say his name. Joaquim Silva, Alex Munoz. He's lost to Drew Dober. Fought that tough fight against Dan Hooker. Beat Rafa Garcia. Beat John McDessie. Lost to Bobby Green, but that was a good fight too. That was a good performance. Good fight. Knocked out Jamie Malarkey in the first round. Beat Landon Quinones. Beat Jared Gordon. Oh yeah, I do remember that fight. That Jared Gordon fight. There was a lot of striking, but Jared Gordon shot for 13 takedowns, missed them all. So the fight wasn't that exciting. But if Nasrat can go in there and put on a good performance against Esteban Robovic, it kind of bounces him back. I mean, the dude is only 29 years old or 28 years old, so it's like still young, still got hella time. If you can get a couple fights a year, for the next few years, or if you just put on good performances in the next few fights regardless, it's an interesting thing. It's very interesting. But if you want my prediction for that one, if you're trying to throw a bet or something down like that, I am rocking with Esteban Robovic. And the bet I would take, Esteban by KO. Esteban by KO, or you could take it over 2.5. Either Esteban Robovic by KO or just take the fight in general over 2.5 rounds. Then you go on to that Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez fight. You're going to see shooting. You're going to see scrambling. You're going to see sloppy striking. It's not going to be an exciting fight. Let me put it that way. And I ain't trying to dog either of the guys. I like Cody Brundage. You listen to his story and everything he was talking about at his press conferences. You low-key feel for the guy. I got a heart. You know what I'm saying? I feel for people. But, and then Julian Marquez, I mean, that dude just flushed his career down the toilet after shooting that shot and failing with Miley Cyrus. After shooting the shot went in, right? And then he followed up, and the shot no longer counted. It must have been goaltending or something. I don't know, some shit like that. Basketball, I don't know all that. But yeah, his shot was not a successful one. Ever since that man has been on a downslope. But he needs this win bad. But Cody Brundage is a really good wrestler. I mean, it's simple to say it that way. He's not like a top tier wrestler. He's not a, amazing wrestler. You saw him scramble and work positions with Bo Nickel. He gave Bo Nickel some problems, so I do see him getting the win over Julian Marquez. I do see him able to get this fight to the ground and control it. Now, if Julian Marquez was riding the same hype that he was back in, what was that, 2021, I might be talking different. You know, I might say that, okay, he's got a potential shot to get a nasty knockout, maybe a highlight reel knockout, something cool, something dope, maybe just putting on a highlight performance. But I see Cody Brundage taking this fight to the ground, controlling it for 3 rounds and getting a 3-round decision. Not going to be exciting, not going to be fancy. It's going to be Cody Brundage just doing what he has to do, shooting, holding the fight down, and that's it. And then you want to talk final prediction for the main event. I'm going with Manal Kape. You know, it's hard to go against Manal Kape. I feel there's a part of me that feels for him because it's either him pulling out or somebody pulling out. His fights never come to fruition the way they're supposed to, and he ends up fighting somebody he wasn't supposed to. So, kind of sucks for him, but I do see him getting this win. Like I said, when you look back at his fight against Bruno Silva, was the same type of situation. A little bit of a shorter notice fight, but he took full control. He showed that there was a difference in where he is and where the other guy is. I mean, Manal Kape's been in the game for a minute, just in general, right? So, I don't know. He deserves a little bit more than what he's been getting, you know. And that, actually, matter of fact, that was pretty dumb of me to say because he got the Brandon Royval fight. That was him deserving. Him getting the Muhammad Mokaev fight, winning that fight, getting the Brandon Royval fight. That one win against Brandon Royval shoots you to the title shot. But I think even in this, if he gets a win against Bruno Silva, he's probably going to get a title shot because the division, it lacks entertainment. It lacks challenges, right? If Pantoja walks right through Kai Kara France, then he's running out of opponents. So you got to make the Manal Kape one. That's the only thing that'll make sense if he gets this win. Now for Almabayev, if he can get in this fight, get the win, he probably needs to get this win and then secure one more against a top guy. And then you could see him fighting for a title possibly. Because like I said, the 125 division, I mean, there's a lot of talent in there, right? It's just not an exciting division. It's not a division that grabs a lot of hype, right? So you have to pay attention because it could take 2 fights for these guys to get a title shot. 1 fight for these guys to get a title shot. I mean, look at Steve Erceg, right? Gets a nasty knockout over Matt Schnell. I mean, no offense to Matt Schnell, but who gets a title shot off a win against Matt Schnell? My official prediction for Saturday night, Manal Kape by decision. Lock it in. I appreciate you for watching this episode. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button. I'll catch you on the next episode.